2 certainly did.
Well, world-class players certainly. Let's see what happens in our first draft for TSM and CLG. Shen LeBlanc, the first 2 bans on either side. Not expecting too many changes. Malzahar again. No one likes him on the blue side today.
No,
Get him out.
Malzahar is just so annoying. It's a champion that, from the support role, is forcing out a massive change in your itemization. You have to build QSS on so many different champions, and that alone is worth its weight in gold. Even if it's not as strong as it was in lane, which it is not because of the nerfs, it's still super powerful.
Well, Soraka ban for TSM, so starting to see some respect there for Aphromu's signature support. Ryzen Camille ban for Logic Gaming to complete their bans. And we'll see what Haunter wants to lock in. Varus left open, TSM snap it up.
Yeah, they certainly will. That's the price you pay for taking away some of these other big-ticket mid laners from Bjergsen. And Haunter has looked really good on the Camille when he has brought it out, so they are not willing to do that. I think it was actually in CLG TSM that we did see Haunter play it into Darshan on the Poppy, and Darshan had an atrocious game into the Camille. It was rough.
And poor Styx, they couldn't get anything done because Camille was consistently diving the backline and taking him down. First pick, Jace though for CLG. There's a Riven Flash from Xmithy. Don't expect that one today, but you never know. Maybe Xmithy's saying, you know what, I can be a carry jungler. Let me get in there.
Hey man, I could see Hui playing something wacky, but I don't think we will see it. I would be interested to find out if they're going to be willing to lock in Aurelion Sol first round because it is left open. Typically, CLG does leave it for the later part of the draft because there are some matchups they're trying to avoid. I think Graves here is a big pick for CLG and makes a lot of sense. Xmithy, his best jungler in my opinion. And I think that the fact that Jace can go both mid or top equally for CLG has worked very well. CLG even showcasing a pretty cool comp yesterday with the Aurelion Sol working as a semi-tank and Braum as a semi-tanky support as well. That kind of made up for the fact that they have the Jace top lane, and it worked really well for their composition.
Well, here's the straightforward Rengar pick for TSM in reaction to that Graves, but both teams getting a lot of what they want here in the early stages of the draft. Bjergsen going to blind pick Syndra, not willing to let that get banned away from him.
Very interesting. I mean, Bjergsen with a pretty bold call there. They will be leaving their top and their support for later. I think that Biofrost could be targeted somewhat in the picks and bans with this, but that said, the guy has a big champion pool, so they're not really giving up a lot to leave these picks to the later half of their draft. And CLG now has to decide, do we match now or do we risk being targeted?
I mean, I think they have to take an AD carry because there aren't that many left, so they'll secure Jhin now for themselves. Stixxay has looked good on more of the traditional carries. You look at Ashe, you look at his recent Ezreal games as well, but I think Jhin, of the utility market, has been Stixxay's best looking one of those. So I do like this pick as well from CLG.
Definitely fair to say, and we're ending up with this kind of triple marksman composition once again. Where do they get their AP? Do we see something drafted like the Zyro or some sort of top lane AP champion and a full damage composition coming in like a Rumble? We've seen some different options there, but it certainly is a composition that can go awry, especially because TSM has not drafted their top lane yet. They could very easily pick into a Maokai or a Nautilus or something like this and stack armor.
And look, TSM is saying, we think that's top lane, Jace, by starting to ban away mid laners here. I mean, Echo can flex as well, so haven't seen that one in a while, but it is possible. CLG on the other side are going to ban away Renekton here, and we'll see if they continue going after top laners here, which may signal something like that Rumble for Darshan potentially.
Yeah, I mean, Hui is a tough one to ban out. He really does play a lot of different stuff, like the Echo, like the Aurelion Sol, even picks that aren't as popular. Plus, he plays all of the meta champions here too. I think the CLG ban of the top laners makes a lot of sense. You don't want to allow them to have a super comfortable tank in the top lane. At least if they go for the Maokai, yes, you are powerful later, but hopefully you can be abused in the laning phase.
Maokai certainly had a dip in power on this patch, did get some pretty significant nerfs, so we've seen a lot of teams just ignore him completely in recent drafts this week. TSM, though, with their final ban, do they want to take something like the Rumble? They do.
Yeah.
Smart ban from TSM.
I think it makes a lot of sense. If CLG were to go for a full damage composition, then Rumble would make a lot of sense here.
Stixxay, of course, hovering his favorite champion. It is Warwick. But we'll see what pick they actually decide to take out here.
We might see them go back to what they kind of did yesterday. Grab a tanky support, grab an AP mid laner, so you do have some sort of initiation, some sort of play like that. But they are now opting into an essentially full physical damage team. That is a decision they have made with the Poppy.
Yep, they want to tank instead in that top lane, so Poppy is their pick. Poncer actually taken off quite a few champions here. Camille banned, and then Renekton, Nautilus, and now Poppy pick. And with Shen being banned on the other side, Poncer drops all the way down to 5th or 6th pick here for top lane. But Maokai's kind of the obvious one. He has dropped in popularity, but still seems fairly solid, particularly if you're just going into a tank matchup.
Yeah, exactly. Maokai into Poppy is fine. This is a winning matchup, in my opinion, for Poppy now. But how much can you really win that kind of matchup by? Unless Poncer is doing something ridiculous, opting into awful fights, you can't really snowball that kind of a lead that much. So this will be a game where CLG has to push the pace. They must be able to end a game like this very quickly or be very ahead before Wild Turtle, you know, he's sitting in the back poking you out, and you have a Maokai and a Rengar supported by a Syndra who are stacking armor. Yeah,
and you've also got Karma to add extra shields in there, Redemption Locket, etc. I do like the bronze from CLG. They kind of need to know they're going to have to get scrappy. They've chosen the top lane tank, so they kind of need to team fight. So they're going to take more of a team fighting oriented support there in Braum. But TSM's comp looks really good.
And one nice thing about the Braum support with the triple marksman is that you almost instantly proc the passive stun in the team fight. So that is very powerful. You can block out stuns. You can block out damage coming out from the Varus with his Qs, with your Unbreakable. So there's a lot going for the Braum pick. But this is just very clearly a game that is on a timer for CLG. If they are not doing well in the early game, or even honestly getting a very big lead, I'm talking like 5K, then they're probably losing this game.
Well, we'll have to see what TSM can get done, because I think Sven and Björk can also make plays in the early game, so it's not like TSM are just waiting for the first 10, 15 minutes and letting the game come to them. So tightly balanced here for CLG. They've got very powerful champions in the 3 marksmen they've drafted right in the center of their map, but TSM a bit more of a balanced comp. Curious to see kind of how the pace of this one plays out, but CLG versus TSM, the owners expected to go to 3 games. We expected to go to 3 games, I think, coming into it, and I'm sure the crowd would love 3 good ones. So let's start off with this one.
And I gotta be honest, I really don't like the CLG comp.
Okay.
I think it's tough, and the more I think about it, the less I like it. Simply because you're talking about a team that needs to get a massive advantage to be able to close out a game like this. All right, you have Jhin Braum into Varus Karma. That is a pretty hard losing lane, in my opinion. You should be losing that lane. Okay, you have Poppy into Maokai. Is the Poppy gonna be this massive advantage that you get? I don't really think so. I mean, is Jace going to smash the Syndra? I also don't really think so. I mean, these are things, yes, they can happen, but should they? I don't think that CLG even really drafted winning lanes, and they must win the early game.
Well, we'll have to find out. CLG, the onus is on you to make this comp work in game number 1. We'll be out under Summoner's Rift for our first one. El Clasico round 2. Feels like only a few weeks since Hotshot was talking about not getting his face tattooed on, and look what happened.
This is pretty sneaky from CLG. They are getting around behind here.
Frost, got to be careful. Q is going to hit. CLG don't flash in for it. Good mantra Q there for a bit of slow. CLG are going to get some vision down here as TSM run out of their own red side jungle.
But Darshan trying to kind of fight back and deny the deep vision here. And he actually is somewhat successful at that. They can't really push up too far to get any more vision in.
Still more poke from CLG. A team that is very good at preparing for level 1s. So aggression there from CLG. Doesn't find any kills, doesn't even blow any summoners, but gets some poking, gets some vision down. And TSM really didn't get any deep wards at all. They just have the Raptor Pit warded out on CLG's side.
And that was a good job by Darshan, honestly, contesting that early vision and really kind of fighting back there. And to your point, CLG is one of the few teams in the league that really does consistently go for pretty creative level 1s.
Certainly good to see. As we'll just kind of return to our standard lanes. Afram is looking for something, though, trying to get harassed down.
Yeah, he was definitely going to try to be a little bit annoying here, especially if this was Sven going for the red buff. It's even easier to kind of harass that. Stixxay is also already in lane, whereas Turtle came up here expecting a bigger invade because of that invade for the ward. So Stixxay able to get a little bit of an edge here. We'll see. Turtle does not miss any of those CS, thankfully for him.
Looking good right now. And now Bifrost's going to rejoin back in the lane. Aframu took the safe way out of his enemy jungle. And now Darshan and Haunter going to go back and forth. Poppy, kind of as expected, should have the early advantage here.
Yeah, one thing worth noting, actually, is that 2 times in a row now on the Braum, it's actually coin for Aframu, which I like quite a bit because he is playing into matchups he knows that he should be getting pushed in. So he's going to get pushed in, he's going to get poked. You say, well, why not take the Relic Shield? Just get the heal from that. The problem is when you step up under your turret to execute a minion with that Relic Shield, you take 3, 4, 5 hits, from spells, from autos, and it's not worth what you actually get back. So with the coin, you can sit back, you can play it more passively, collect some of that ambient gold, and not risk taking all that damage.
Good bit of early poke there from Bjergsen as Sven Skaren's having a long drawn-out battle with the blue buff, but yeah, the jungler's very good at calculating this sort of thing. Sven gets the double buff, hits level 3, and now going to hit his first recall.
Would have been a little bit scared for him. He didn't already have 3 stacks of his empowerment there, but he is going to be okay. And Darshan pushing in top lane. Everything's going as planned, and even though CLG did get the lane earlier, B6A was able to kind of get that early level 2 to slow down the push a little bit. You can see TSM is already having them under turret. This is as expected, right? They should be poking them out, having them under turret, and once these last minions fall, this is where it gets tough for CLG, because now you need to try to collect all these minions without losing too much health. Even Afro just prepping minions, when he steps forward, he will take hits.
Yeah, and you can see Afro does a good job putting up the Unbreakable, blocking the initial damage from the Q. Who he actually going to TP back to lane? That is a strange buy.
Charm. Interesting. Yeah, that is really interesting. I guess the only thing I could say with that is he has a little bit of extra gold, and he's saying the investment for the mana regen is worth it for now. It's either that or a misclick, and I'm going to give him the benefit of
Oh, good gank timing from McSmith. He might go for an early tower dive here. He's on the Gromp right now. Haunter is pretty low.
He's coming up too, actually, so they're using that TP. They are going to try to snowball it. They know they need to go for something, and they're setting up for the dive.
Haunter trying to dodge it. Eats the first Q. Darshan slams him into the wall, and there's first blood for Smithy.
Nice job here from CLG. They knew they needed to get something done there. Haunter not even going to blow the summoners. Does get taken out. But now Sven Skaren and Bjergsen are going to try to zone Huhi off of this mid lane wave that is crashing into his turret. It's actually a very big wave. He needs some help to get back there because Huhi's losing quite a bit.
Sven's also caught out of position now as well. Good stun onto Huhi by Bjergsen, but Smithy and Darshan are chasing into the mid lane. Sven Skaren eating a bit more damage, trying to dash away. Flash creep from Smithy tries to get it. Darshan barely misses the carry to the wall with the flash.
Really close stuff there. Afro even coming up now, getting behind Bjergsen here. It's a party in the mid lane. He gets tagged.
Oh, CLG always have something prepared. Good stun from Bjergsen. Doesn't get the passive proc.
That knockback was so key from Bjergsen. Beautiful stuff. Knocks back Afro as he flashes. That would have been the final hit. That would have been the all-in.
Really good stuff. Darshan did hold on to his flash though. That dash barely missed into the wall. So we'll have that summoner. Haunter held on to his as well, knowing that he was dead anyway in the top lane exchange. He didn't really have opportunity to flash anyway. Stun again from Bjergsen. Damage just piling on here from the Syndra, but Bjerg low on mana and no lost chapter to play with right now. Went back for a very early cloth armor, probably because he knew 4 people were coming to his lane.
And grabbing some of that early armor can just be so effective against someone who's going lethality. But the price for those roams is the bot lane right now. Who's getting pushed in? 6-8 is down quite a bit in CS. They are down in XP.
Oh.
I mean, this is just a brutal lane for them to play into. And despite the first blood, despite CLG moving around the map and getting all this done, gold is dead even.
Yep, Haunter back in top lane. Both top laners did actually teleport their way back in. Timers will be slightly desynchronized. But double door into Haunter, trying to kind of get through the rough patch of the early lane. And it looks like Darshan looking for a quick Spectre's Cowl. Makes sense, given all the magic damage out from Maokai. Finally a reprieve in bottom lane, though, for CLG, as TSM are looking for their first recall. And there's a Serrated Dirk and the tier for Turtle. So first buy is a good one.
Yeah, it certainly is. Already almost 20 CS ahead on that Varus, which is just or 6-8 and Afro. Especially because Afro would love to try to roam around and get things done, but Jhin is not an 80 carry that thrives on his own, right? He really does need the help to actually get much done in lane. Darshan getting pretty aggressive here. That's Haunter level 6 now. He can try to dodge it with the W.
He's gonna try and flash it. No, he doesn't get it. Really good timing from Darshan.
Yeah, nice little mini game there. As soon as Haunter hits 6, he would win that turnaround fight because Darshan had committed so far forward. What Haunter was trying to do was use a Twisted Advance to actually immune the knockup from the ultimate out of Darshan, and that could have netted him.
Yep, Darshan plays it right, is patient, and lets it go with just enough time to kick Haunter out of his lane. He does have to recall, though, so the aggression's going to cost him some CS here.
I'm actually surprised he completed that recall. He had enough health he could have stayed around and at least picked up that wave. He now sacrifices a full wave, does not have TP, and is actually down in lane.
A little awkward. We'll see if that has any rippling effects in this game. Sven Skaren will be taking his own red buff. Stun again from Bjergsen. Now going to throw the cannon creep at him. Now Huhi looking for the all-in. Knocks Bjergsen back. Just a bit of poke back there in hammer form. But Bjergsen pushing the lane up. Did get a summoner out of the deal, did Huhi, as Bjergsen burnt the ghost.
Yeah, and Bjergsen was trying to land another spell or two before committing the ultimate to ensure the kill. Was not able to do so, but Svenskeren now is sharking around here, level 6.
Spotic Smithy control ward down, but gonna get slowed down by the bowler. Svenskeren still trying to play with something here. He's got his bottom lane coming up as well, but CLG are also responding.
Yeah, they want this blue. They're going to try to contest at that blue. They know they have heavy bot lane priority right now. Mid lane is also pushing in, so they're trying to use that pressure to get this blue off Huhi and onto Bjergsen.
No teleports, it's the 4v4 only as who he's going to get poked in while Turtle misses his first Q, but they're spotting Smithy. Oh, great flash on from Turtle. That should be a kill for TSM. Svenskeren collects it, but now they can maybe turn it around. Biofrost in the front lines has to flash out. Darshan rotates in, moves Biofrost back in, and that might be enough damage. Certainly is as who he gets a kill for himself.
Smithy just kind of wandered out there by himself, gets isolated, and does get picked off by TSM. Still a pretty good trade for them, I would say, because you take down the opponent's jungler, you just lose the support. But what is Smithy doing here? I mean, he's trying to come around, he realizes his mistake, tries to get out with the ultimate, but he is isolated. His bot lane is on the other side of the map, who he cannot come down to him. That is just poor positioning, made up for somewhat by this play from Darshan.
Good roam there from Poppy. Darshan getting out of his lane. Might even have something under Haunter here, but okay, pretty safe. Gonna drink some potion. And again, Wave was pushing in. Darshan doesn't want to lose any more CS. He's already 10 behind. Yeah. But effective roam play is going to give him some much needed gold out of the assist. So Haunter looking good in lane, but Darshan's definitely still moving with his team. And CLG as almost always playing together to react to TSM's aggression.
Darshan especially is a guy who, when he's on the tanks, roams so much. He's always walking down to mid lane. He's always looking for plays, even at the expense of himself. And you know, we heard Aframu last year kind of talking about, you know, Huhi having this problem where it was like, no, Huhi, don't do anything for the team. Yep. You know, play a bit more greedy. And sometimes I feel like that's a trap that Darshan can fall into, where he's trying to give too much away for the team, and it's great. You roam down, you got an assist. But if you're losing your lane at the expense of a play like that, it's not always worth it.
Yeah, have to make calculated decisions there. So Darshan, I do like some of the roams. Again, he's keeping pretty even in CS, but certainly something interesting to track for CLG as a whole.
But the thing is, there's a lot of minions to collect here for Haunter, so you will see that lead develop a bit. And when this is supposed to be a lane that you're winning and your comp must win early, it starts to look a bit more rough.
Well, 2-1 up in guilds for CLG is kind of winning early. Going to get an Ocean Drake potentially here as well. Svenskeren is in the area, but I don't think he fancies the steal. And a good Drake to have here, no matter how you slice it. CLG will take the first one.
Yeah, early Ocean, definitely the time you want to grab that. It is really, really nice. Against the poke of Varus, that's going to be quite helpful, and they're looking for a play here on the bot side.
Speed up from Biofrost.
No flash on Turtle.
Really good stunts. He needs one more auto. Smithy flashes in for it. Heal is down as well. And now the smoke screen not quite enough. Svenskeren able to turn it around. Turtle gets one. Sven grabs the other. And now Stixxay going to get bowled off. Lands the snare. That should be a follow-up kill. Flash out from Stixxay might save, but Huhi wants to take out Svenskeren. Lives with a W. Snipe is not quite enough. The shield from Biofrost going to keep him alive.
TSM get it all there.
Ow.
The TP even from Darshan. Everyone stays alive. They get a kill onto Smithy.
Did the classic top lane standoff. Everyone TP's down. Both cancel the TPs at the same time. So no one joins in, but let's watch this one again. CLG with another good collapse here.
Yeah, they do have a pretty nice start to the play, but Biofrost is able to delay so much here, and they really don't have the damage, right? Once the exhaust is onto Graves there, and the shields are coming out from Karma, they can't actually finish the play. Stixxay is far away, Rengar comes flying in, and it was just very well played by Biofrost to keep his AD carry alive, and then the turnaround, Huhi just barely missing out there.
Another good field on the end from Biofrost. And you can see the poke from Jace, not quite enough. So Ghostblade now done for Huhi. Maybe needed that beforehand to get himself the kill, but Jace should only get stronger as the game goes on. Bjergsen, on the other hand, does have a Seeker's Arm Guard, so fully aware with the refill and the double Dorans that Jace is very good in the early game, but now he's building into his own first item, lost chapter finish, building towards Morellonomicon.
And another thing about going for that Seeker is, all right, who's going to come and kill you? Okay, I'm going to get ganked. Guess what he does? Physical damage. Oh, who could make a roam up from bot lane? Oh, well, the Jhin could ult me. Physical damage. So Seekers is the most efficient item Bjergsen could ever build in a game like this. Even Poppy, mostly physical damage. So Bjergsen gives himself so much safety by building that one item alone, and Ninja Tabbies are going to be ridiculously effective. I expect to see Svenskeren complete his. They're already done for Haunter. Just little items like this are very easy to go into against a full AD team.
Yep, certainly very good. Bjergsen does have himself kind of a quiet CS lead here. Syndra very good at shoving these waves in, particularly as she gains levels. Let's see who he's playing back. Has left the lane quite a number of times trying to make a play. Also has a TP, so able to get back to his lane, but also to the side lanes easier. A lot of Jaces you'll see run something a little more combat-oriented. Usually Exhaust is the big one, but CLG, to me, double TP is a signature CLG style. They love to run this.
And it does give them a win condition, right? And the thought is, okay, Jace gets really strong. Even though our comp falls off, Jace builds armor pen, he builds lifesteal, he split pushes, we have double TP, that's how we win the game. That's essentially what they're saying with this spell. Not taking exhaust against Bjergsen and that assassin for the 1v1, so that's the trade-off they're going to make. They're going to try to hedge their bets a little bit.
Ooh, he's straight in on the Stixay, spent Scaring with a great chunk of poke. Rest of CLG are there though, so TSM don't overcommit to the play. But Stixay gonna have trouble really joining this play, and we'll have to recall. As a result, Turtle gets free time on this bottom lane, and all that pressure that's been building up for the duo lane finally gonna result in maybe a turret, but CLG gonna start the race here in mid lane.
Should be first turret for TSM pretty comfortably though, and I don't think CLG can even get this one because 3 members of TSM are already making the move over.
Juicy amount of gold there for Turtle, 650 clean on the first bonus turret gold. So he's having a great game for himself, 30 CS ahead. Lane's been playing really well, and despite the attention that CLG have been putting there, managed to absorb a lot of that pressure. CLG instead will transfer power to the left-hand side and try and steal away the blue buff. Looks like it should be successful here. No mid lane is going to get it, but Xmithie more than happy to take it.
I mean, Turtle is already alone 1,1700 gold ahead of Stixay, and that is so rough. I mean, that is the BF sword plus the boots. That is basically the buy that he has over his opponent right now. It's very, very worrying for the team that the armor stacking is going to be coming in.
Really creative CS puzzle solution there for Haunter. Clearly showing off maximum knowledge of Maokai hitboxes. As Bjergsen now level 11, so rank 2 ulti can join the party as well. Does have a good chunk of gold, almost 1,800 ready to go. So it looks like that first major item is completed. We're going to go back and collect that before the Mountain Drake that's up in a minute 20. TSM off to a decently 2,500 gold, certainly closer. Close-ish for CLG, they'll take it. Obviously, they'd like to be ahead, but if they are going to be behind, this is the kind of lead you're kind of happy to play with. Starts to get a bit more uncomfortable around the 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 gold mark.
Well, and when you take the composition into consideration, it already starts to feel like that. That's the real problem. Is, you know, I talked about how they should be like, they need to be like 5K ahead. They're 2K behind, right? Like, that's where it gets really, really scary for them. And TSM will be happy to sit back and farm this game out. If there's no more kills for the next 20 minutes, TSM is laughing. Like, they are really happy about that because Maokai will become invincible. And CLG either needs to fully opt in and say, we're going to only win this game through split pushing, or they need to make plays happen now. And I really do feel like the time is running out. They need to make some plays.
Ben actually taking a little too much damage. Din ulti there, but Afro gets snared up by the Tainted Corruption. They follow him through. Syndra ulti's going to get it, and Haunter able to take down Afro. Gets punted back to the turret though by the Jace's. Darshan slams him into a wall. And there's the trade kill for CLG. Xmithie here doesn't have his ulti as Bjergsen's just trying to kite away. Darshan, he wants to pick up somebody else, but CLG can't chase forever because Turtle's got so much poke.
Oh, yeah, that poke is dangerous onto Xmithie. It is a trade of kills, but TSM gets the turret, and they are looking to set up around this Mountain Dragon, take that down. That'll help them a lot in their sieging and for the objective control. 2
turrets to nothing right now for TSM though, as Darshan might be able to work on the top outer turret. No other play really available here for CLG though, so behind they try and turn something around in the siege. TSM come out on top once again. Don't get a kill, but they'll take the objective.
Yeah, and here it is. I mean, Afro, he does take so much damage here as this turret is already going down. They were not really in position to fully defend it against the full TSM 5-man squad. CLG just didn't want to give anything up, right? But the fact of the matter is all 5 TSM members were there when CLG only had 3 and a low HP turret. They should have probably backed off.
Yeah, looks like a turret goes down in top lane. So CLG pick up their first. Huhi down the side lane now getting poked by Turtle. Spent Scaring on the flank, but no commitment there from TSM. Darshan and Haunter still going at it, but you can already see just the Sunfire cape here for Haunter and the Ninja Tavi. Darshan's just getting no work done anymore in this 1v1.
I mean, look at Bjergsen. Bjergsen Ninja Tabbies. Turtle Ninja Tabbies. There's 4 Ninja Tabbies on the team. The only person who's not going to buy them is Biofrost. They're so efficient against this kind of composition. I'm honestly, like, not that it's bad that Svenskeren is going to be building towards a Black Cleaver here by any means. That's still, that's the most common item. But I wouldn't have been surprised at all to just see him skip that and go straight for armor. And seeing him build this, he probably is going to just build this and then go into armor.
I think so as well. You can see, again, CLG not quite as decisive as you would like to see. I mean, they don't have a lot of room right now.
That's the thing. TSM's not giving you openings, right? You can't just force out of nothing, and that's why a comp like this is so problematic. You know, you draft losing lanes, you draft, or at least not hard-winning lanes. If you don't have those advantages, it's tough to make these compositions work.
Yeah, and I think you already mentioned that CLG's comp is going to cause some problems here. But I think, you know, something as stark as 4 Ninja Tower in one team is kind of worth looking at. This has been picking up a little more in popularity because these boots, I mean, the armor on its own is so good against the likes of AD and lethality, but Ninja Tower in particular, I mean, Bang's recent Ezreal games or anything to go by, he loves this item. He thinks it's so good against these AD champions.
Yeah, I mean, lethality is the big thing because it's not just about reducing physical damage. It's about the fact that lethality, with the full lethality runes and the lethality build, you can reduce your opponent's armor to 0, which means you're doing true damage. Even just adding the 30 armor from the Ninja Tabbies means you're taking massively less damage. So that is the big thing. It's keeping you above that true damage threshold, and that makes a huge difference.
Yep, just so efficient there. So TSM clearly smart about their early item purchases. CLG, though, again, trying to siege down the bottom side. TSM looking to regroup in the center of the map. They did have a go at the top lane out of turret, but again, no need to overcommit for TSM. You said it already.
Oh,
they want to play as slow they can, but they're not playing this slow at all. Like Smithy tagged up by the stun is forced to fight, but Haunter is on a great flank. Darshan going to charge this up. It's nobody. Internal flash onto Darshan. He's going to get crushed down here as Bjergsen gets the kill for TSM. And now he flashes in, looks for who he gets the double stun out. So creative from Bjergsen. Syndra needs a little bit more. Smithy low, forced the heal out for Stixxay to stay alive.
The one thing about the Seekers into Tab Eye Syndra build,
not that much damage.
Yeah, you don't really do that much damage. You flash ults, who he does about 20% of his health, but TSM are posturing. They will pressure this mid lane turret. They may not be able to get it, but it is very, very low, and they should be able to knock it.
Couple of melee creeps heroically stay alive through the shock blast of Jace. And TSM are able to take themselves their 3rd turret, breaking the tier 2 in mid lane. Gold lead, again picking up 4,000 gold now for TSM. And this top outer turret should be there pretty quickly. Svenskeren is already here to start off this play. And CLG is sitting here wanting to be 5,000-6,000 gold ahead at this point, and only with 1 turret. Looking grim given the comp they picked themselves into here in game 1. Like you said, they're behind, like they're already behind, and they're gonna be more behind because of how they decided to draw.
Yeah, it's very, very tough, I think. And CLG, you know, they know the position that they are in, and I think it's time for them to try to move Hui to those side lanes and try to get something done in the split push. But the tough part about that is TSM has a very good comp at forcing dives, at attacking the 4-man squad.
Bjergsen is going all into Stixxay. That's a bit more damage. Not quite enough to get the kill, though. Here's a return ultimate. Bifrost going to take these up. Bjergsen trying to trade hits back and forth. Last bullets there, misses. And now damage onto Afro. Last Q not there for Bifrost. Little short for Afro.
A 7.4 change for Jhin. The slow does not last as long if you hit one of the bullets, so it's not nearly as free to continuously chain those together.
Hui here, battling with the blue buff. Wins easily. And now the Haunting Guts of Bjergsen should add a lot more damage. He had about 1,700 gold banked in his pockets. Now down to only 100.
And while Hui is building towards lethality, I do feel like if you want to have a chance of actually making split push work, even against the Maokai in a game like this, you need an early Last Whisper. Even if it's just the Last Whisper item, the 1,300 gold gives you 45% armor pen in this patch. You don't need the fully completed one to get that. You get less AD, but that alone is ridiculously cost efficient against a team that is going to be stacking this much armor. So, I mean, Hui going for the Edge of Night is good for trying to do damage to Bjergsen or something like that, but it means he's going to be that much further away from ever dealing with the Maokai.
Bifrost already here to help out Turtle. He's on the way to taking out yet another turret for TSM. CLG trying to start something here, but Svenskeren going to catch a flank. Looks for Hui. Really nice angle on the ultimate leap. It doesn't get the kill.
Certainly doesn't, but they get what they come for. Expend the Rengar ultimate, get a turret. He has CDR from the cleaver. It's already a short cooldown. I mean, you can see already about a quarter of that cooldown is gone, so they're going to get that up very quickly, and it's not a high price to pay.
So, roaming down to enter Darshan is actually Bifrost and Turtle going to move in to answer that. There's a Drake up in 5 seconds as well, so TSM look to take their second. CLG have equalized as far as Drakes go, but they have to deal with Darshan first here.
I think Darshan has to deal with TSM. I mean, Maokai is behind him, and he's not going to be a threat to take down that turret. Oh. If he can't knock away the Maokai, he's probably dead.
I mean, he can't really. Oh, he does. Not quite in Twisted Advance. Ran into a Bifrost, going to lock him down instead. Turtle commits Chain of Corruption. And now Darshan's got to keep running. He flashes, but it might be a bit early as he gets tagged by the slow and then the exhaust from Bifrost. But Poppy Speed from the W is enough to get himself out.
Yeah, that was a key ultimate. Really nice job. He had to knock away the Maokai. That's the guy who's going to lock him down and get that kill.
Well, CLG also maybe looking for something on top of this pink ward behind the left-hand side of mid lane. But again, just kind of hoping somebody walks through a silly way and gets themselves picked off. TSM more interested in the map right now. They are going to move themselves over to the Cloud Drake and pick up that next objective for themselves. And it is a methodical game here for TSM. They're slowly building a lead. It feels like this split especially, they are playing kind of very standard and very safe, but they're really good at playing clean. And when they need to be clutch, they can be. But like you said already, there is no onus on TSM to make dramatic or risky plays. If they farm up and this game just keeps getting later, they're advantaged.
They certainly are. The only edge that CLG might gain from that really slow game is the split push, you know, because if who he can get to a Last Whisper item and a Black Cleaver and a Bloodthirster and all this stuff, then he can really start to have some success in the side lane. But that is so far away, not really super realistic at this point in the game.
Oh, this could be a catch on the Turtle. Probably going to flash on top of him. This should be an easy one. 6A. First kill of the game for him.
Yeah, good play there from CLG. That's the kind of stuff that they need to do consistently, and then they need to get more. And now Darshan is trying to threaten this dive here. They want the turret.
That's Garen. Tanky actually gets some pokes back in onto Darshan. Leaps back in again. Aphromoo here commits the ultimate. It's whiffs though. The Christmas trees go straight through the rush. And now Bjergsen lining up an ult. He just goes in it for Aphro, but he lives with the heal from 6A. Pause with the here in the front line, looking to lock somebody down. They want Darshan. They'll chase in. Bolo lands for the snare, but CLG right behind their top laner.
Yeah, TSM can't really commit to that chase as they don't have a lot of damage left in their team without Wild Turtle, so they have to play that pretty safe.
Early dust blade from Turtle as well. I saw the BF sword earlier and wondered where he was going, so pretty aggressive as far as the early lethality goes, but unfortunately not much use against CLG collapsing on him. He was a little too far forward in the mid lane.
Didn't have the vision coverage to really be clearing that wave. You need to either have someone with you or have the wards to let you know that the other team is not there. He had neither, goes down. But in the big scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal for TSM as they were able to defend the turret off of it, and that would have been the key play for CLG. They need to get a pick and then get an objective and continuously look to snowball that. One thing that is going for CLG is when you have these triple AD carry compositions, you can smash the Baron. So if you ever do get alone time in that pit, if you can set up vision and kind of get a sneak attempt on it, you will kill it so fast that often the other team can't react.
TSM are going to have to be extra diligent with making sure they have vision of the area. Bjergsen now with the Leandries though, so he's going to move to top lane. Friends behind him right now. And looks like TSM are situating Turtle in the mid lane. We thought it was safe before, but with the tower still up, he's able to fire poke freely, clear the wave, and get pretty easy gold for himself. You can already see TSM taking control of this top left-hand corner with the Drake down and control it instantly into that Baron pit, making sure CLG don't try anything tricky.
Yeah, exactly. Even if they don't go for it, they want to at least make sure that CLG cannot. And they have a Mountain Drake, so they too can threaten these fights. You know, if CLG tries to force with split push, TSM can very easily go over to the Baron and try to draw them into a 5v5 type fight.
And I mean, if there was ever a time for armor stacking Iceborne Gauntlet, it might be this game. And Haunts up, just with those two items, is causing problems for Darshan. I mean, Darshan's going to be nice and tanky too, but that circle that he's going to grow could be one of the biggest we've ever seen in competitive.
Certainly could be. I think that it makes sense because he's going to be so tanky and he's going to stay alive for so long. This adds a significant amount of damage to his rotation that he's actually a threat to someone like Stixay who has no lifesteal that he's building up. That said, Frozen Heart, also a really good option against 3 people who are auto attackers, but Frozen Heart doesn't work against Jhin, so there's some arguments on both sides, and I think this is totally reasonable.
Well, we've got a Ruby Crystal right now, so we'll see where he goes.
Probably Randuin's.
Yep, that's my guess. A top lane standard for the Aces.
Yeah. It's just so effective here. Their attack speed reduction, having the extra slow, all things that he would love to get. I am interested to see if he ever actually goes back for a Spirit Visage just to increase his passive healing and grab some CDR. I don't really think that there's a need to. I would rather see him build towards, Randuin's and then grab a really early Thornmail. Because if you get that Thornmail and you're going into people who are not building lifesteal, like Huhi, like 6A, like Smithy, none of these AD carries have lifesteal. So if you have Thornmail, that plus the Iceborne, the amount of damage you're putting out is actually insane on these guys.
Yep, and Haunter, I mean, he's already going to be invincible. He's now getting pressure pushed into this bottom half of the map. TSM again, playing pretty strongly around this left side, but Haunter and Darshan both have their teleports, so can join in if a fight is to break out. And CLG, I mean, TSM are doing a great job just playing this slowly, building up pressure, and not making mistakes when they're doing that. And at some point, CLG just have to say, we need to make a play. Like, sure, it's a risk that you don't want to take, but you kind of have to take one at some point.
Yeah, it does become tough, unless they think that they can hold on 4v4, clear waves, and play the game so that Hui eventually split pushes and Darshan eventually split pushes and they get something done. I mean, Hui is building towards Black Cleaver. Once he has that, once he has the Last Whisper, he will be doing good damage to the Maokai, but he'll probably still need lifesteal on top of it to actually really bully that matchup and be able to do more damage.
Yep, we'll see how this kind of breaks out. Haunter just getting the way pushed in, got a lot of gold for himself to spend as well. So the next fight that we see, Haunter will be even stronger. You can see almost 2,300 gold in his pocket right now. Not recalling just yet though. At TSM, probably setting up for this next objective, making sure they keep control around the Baron, but they do have a Drake to think about in 30 seconds as well. And CLG, you can just see based on their map positioning, how far back in their third of the map they're forced to play. Svenskeren even just stealing Krogs now.
I mean, TSM is just fully pushing up on the top side. Haunter on the Maokai going to be shoving into mid lane. So there's waves everywhere that they kind of have to answer. Darshan is dealing with bot and is getting some pressure gone there. But CLG really needs to clear these waves quickly.
Bit of poke there. Total. He'll take a tower shot thanks to Deathfire Touch. It's decent damage actually being fired onto the Jhin. But they've got good poke. Should feel comfortable in a team fight here. Now's the ulti from Jhin, gonna try and get a pick. Redemption's here. Ulti already there for the Graves. Biofrost hits a lot of damage, and a good ult from Afro is gonna get a couple, but Sven almost takes down Afro, and Haunter is ready for a dive if they want to go for it.
Yeah, and Darshan still has not based. He's just trying to push this. So this is what CLG is trying to do. This is their plan. Delay, delay, delay. Have side lane pressure with the double TP. In this case, they need Hui for that wave clear. And TSM could get this turret here, very likely. We'll see if Darshan comes up.
To be able to take it and do sticks, they barely misses out on getting stunned.
There's a TP from Darshan.
Right to the Baron pit.
Well, that is far. I don't think he can do much with this. He's actually looking for Svenskeren. He does have his flash available, though. I think Sven is out scot-free.
Certainly is. The rest of TSM should follow suit. And it's just a tower trade there. CLG expended so much to try and get something done. Now
they rush the Baron, though. The bases were completed. We talked about how fast they can kill this. Do they make the call?
They have to go. It's a threat, and CLG, they're going to do what they can, but if Svenskeren stuck around, he's going to see them instantly. Teleport from Haunter goes in. He might just flash in and tie them up as long as he can. Sven is waiting to try and steal this. Firefrost as well. Ulti up from Poppy. Svenskeren leaps in. No, he kind of gets pushed by Darshan. Baron over to CLG, but TSM are going to wreck the team by Haunter. Takes out Afro move. And Darshan, he's trapped in as well. He's got a Guardian Angel. That's a huge amount of gold to have to give up. But CLG, they got the objective they wanted.
They get it, and the question is, can they get anything done with it? Because there's only 3 members alive. All 5 are on the field for TSM, and TSM is going to be the ones on the push here. They will look to crack an inhibitor before Darshan and Afromu come back. We'll see if they can do it.
Well, Bjergsen already pushed the wave up, got rank 3 ultimate ready to go. Good poke
nice
into Turtle. Yeah, they need to block this. Haunter needs to get in front of his teammates. Bjergsen playing up. Haunter blocks the last shot though. And now they just want this. They want this turret. They've got 25 seconds on Darshan. It's going to melt here despite the Baron minion resistance. Turret does fall. Who he's stunned. Ulti misses from Turtle.
TSM did take a lot of poke there. They want to walk out, and they should be able to do so as long as they stay together as a squad, because Darshan does not have his TP. He expended that on the previous play. And TSM will get away, knocking down that inhibitor turret.
Nice Scryer's Bloom going to spot all 5 members of TSM, but Mantra Shield's going to get them out. Six is trying to solo push onto this turret, but he needs a mini wave to help him out. Huhi checks the brush, but TSM have booked it a little further north.
This is where we find out, is the Baron worth it for CLG? How much can they get? Can they get 1 turret, 2 turrets? Can they crack an inhibitor? I mean, they need to get a lot done with this because they gave up quite a bit to get it.
Well, there's one. They take the mid out of turret. Finally, that TSM were doing a nice job defending. Cloud Drake's going to go over to them as well. So already looking decent for CLG. He also stole the red buff. Jackson going to get his blue though.
The real scary part about this is not even that like gold-wise it's bad, because gold-wise it's pretty decent for CLG so far. The problem is that the inhibitor turret went down, and that means the 4-man squad is so unsafe if you try to go into split pushing. And that's kind of how CLG has to win this game. You know, if you put your, sure, you have Darshan bot lane and he's split pushing, great. Well, they just walk up and they take that inhibitor down. There's no defense, right? There's no added turret to help be that 5th man.
Bjergsen is just destroying these waves, even with the help with Baron. You're going to look for a pick here. Bifrost leaping forward. TSM just going to clear out vision and start this siege on the top tier 2. Remember, CLG are the ones with Baron, and they're still getting sieged by TSM.
And that's just the state of the game really right now. We are seeing finally the last Whisper did come in for Hui, for 6A. They're starting to build those up. It's done for Smithy, so they're getting the armor pen. They are showing the respect to that. 2 Black Cleavers are going to help to shred that armor as well. So they have some ways to punch through the armor now.
Do they have enough though? I guess we'll have to see. Dead Man's Plate was actually finished for Haunter, and he's got another chain vest. CLG. Oh, actually looking for something fine. Turtle with that guard getting a slam. Haunter though in a great choke positioning, just helping the rest of the team. Redemption's going to heal them all up. Now they lock down Darshan, but he gets kicked out. TSM now need to back away, but no snare there from the Deadly Flourish. TSM get out safely.
Good attempt there from Darshan. He catches Turtle, but not even a summoner has to be blown there from TSM. They can walk out calmly, easily blocking up that Jhin ultimate as they have so many tanks and the shield from Karma. It's tough to find a way in for CLG.
And I think, you know, having a big tank, able to stack armor, the smart buys of the likes of Ninja Tavi, all make sense for CLG's comp, but Karma feels like the real nail in the coffin to me. Karma is so good at keeping your team alive. When you have a tank as tanky as Maokai, Karma's just going to extend his life for far too long than you can realistically punch through.
I think the Locket, very intelligent choice here too. You buy the Locket on top of the Redemption. These are even more buffers. You know, CLG wants to try to burst down Turtle or Bjergsen and try to kill them off really fast and say, okay, great, you have a lot of armor, but there's no damage left, and I'll slowly kill you. Those are 2 items which are really going to help to prevent that.
Yeah, you can see consistent Redemption usage is there, getting 5-man heals onto TSM. Darshan does get himself caught by Haunter, but tank battle's not going to amount to much. TSM though on the offensive. Baron has dropped off of CLG. Looking to try and get some pushes happening. Top lane looks decent for, I think, CLG right now. A little tricky to catch on the minimap. TSM in position, try and see something up.
I think an interesting discussion here is also Locket on top laners versus supports. In this situation, I think that having the Locket on the support makes a lot of sense because Haunter wants to be the pure armor stacking tank. Because there's not a diverse damage profile, he doesn't need the MR, he doesn't want that kind of inefficient armor item against this team. So it makes sense for Karma to have that. Against a more standard team composition, the Locket is great on top laners because it scales off level and you get a bigger benefit.
And you can see right now, I mean, Haunter is 17 to Bifrost 13. He's 4 levels up, so the shield to be that much bigger as TSM do take that tier 2 turret. 7 turrets to 4 now. CLG again, just being slowly pushed back by TSM. TSM just not worried. In fact, they might even just kill Afro over a wall. Pops away, puts up the Unbreakable, but that was close.
There's so much poke coming out there onto Afro, and he does stay alive. He now caught out.
Garrett's pretty strong here. He's going to keep going for it. Haunter also over the top, forcing a flash from McSmithy. CLG running out of spells, running out of summoners. TSM just grinding them into the dust.
Yeah, all the outers are now down for TSM. CLG is getting more and more armor pen. They're getting to the place where they need to be if they want to be able to split push on Hui. So they have that going for them. But it's tough to find the opportunities to actually put him in a side wave without TSM just running down at you. Because TSM knows that's the way that CLG will win. So they're just playing deathball. They're always going to be together as 5. They're saying, yep, you can't pick us because we're never going to move apart from the team. And they will walk down as 5-man over and over and over. Now going to establish that Baron vision.
Yep, you can see the Thornmail's now completed for Haunter. We'd have the Void Staff with the almost completed Hourglass for Bjergsen as well. And even Wild Turtle's got himself the Mortal Reminder and he's transformed his Mortal Mana as well.
Thornmail is just so powerful because it deals even more return damage based on how much armor you have. So that makes it stronger. Plus the fact that none of these 80 carries are actually building lifesteal. And if you don't have lifesteal, even if Haunter is not returning damage, you will kill yourself attacking this guy.
Currently 400 armor on Haunter, so certainly has more than enough stacked up here. He's actually getting pressure into the top lane here. CLG are trying to just run it through mid and get damage done, but their inhibitor's open. I'm not sure they wanted to proxy this push.
Yeah, it's looking like they're going to have to TP back and try to defend even. Darshan having to expend that. Wants to slow down this push, but TSM can then just walk away. I mean, they get the summoner out for free and just get out of there.
And straight onto Baron as well, perhaps. It's up and available. Blast cone used there. Haunts are going to get himself a bit more distance out. TSM, do they go for it? Do they bait it? They do have complete vision control right now.
They do not need to risk a 50-50 because they have good engage. They can start it up and then turn if CLG comes, and I think that's what they're going to try to do. Haunter is around the top side. He is looking for a flank, and then TSM will go for the fight.
Again, just keeping them interested.
Here he goes.
Now Karma's going to move in. Rengar ultimate popped. Who's he going in for? Looks for Afro move. Damage not quite there, but Sven is so tanky. Redemption down. Heals the rest of TSM, and Afro goes down to Bjergsen. Now Darshan, stand up on the other side, has to get out. And Jinshot's just answering it up as Haunter jumps onto Xmithy and ties up the rest of the team. Hui tried to dive in there, but TSM just cannot be killed.
Darshan actually played that fight so well, too. He zoned out the Maokai, stopped him from doing his flank, then ulted him out of the fight, and they still lost that fight very clearly. Darshan losing to GA. They likely will lose the Baron. CLG must try to contest. They have no chance if the Baron goes down.
Smithy is here. They've got the poke. Firefrost is low. They pick up Smithy. That's going to turn it around. Stixxay now getting jumped on, forced to flash out of the way. Hui's still alive, but they're going to surge forward. Ghostblade's activated, going to try and chase Hui. Good stop, Bjergsen. Staring from Haunter. Does get the counter kill. Gets another as well. 2 kills for Hui as he falls valiantly.
And they stop the Baron. That's big for CLG. That keeps their hopes alive. They cannot afford to give that one up. Massive wave going to be collected here by Svenskeren, but there's some big global objectives. And if CLG can get out on the map and establish control, they could look to be the ones to take Baron or Elder because they need those desperately. If you get the Elder Dragon, that really throws a wrench in the gears of TSM because true damage is pretty powerful.
See how this one started. Xmithy gets picked, but Stixxay and Hui just keep fighting.
Yeah, they fight for a long time here. They are playing it quite well, and they have the armor pen, so they can actually finally return some damage onto Haunter. But even without shields on him, you see how long it does take for him to go down, and the core of TSM is still alive. All the damage dealers there.
Plenty of threat, so the map will reset once again. TSM still up a good chunk of gold, about 4,500, but again, Maokai is just so troublesome for CLG. I think that's a GA next for Haunter.
Yeah, should be a GA that he's going to build into. A lot of armor being built up for Svenskeren. He has his GA now, so can go a little bit more aggressively in that way. And Hui actually not building towards lifesteal, so he's going for more of a teamfight build. This is either going to be a Hex Shrinker, something to help him survive the Cinder Burst and reduce a little bit of the damage from the Maokai, or it could be a GA of his own.
We'll have to see. TSM though again is taking control of the Baron area. They've got bottom wave pushing for them. Afro keep getting poked. Darshan, they can pick him off and they can try and find a good angle. They'll lock him down. Haunter going to keep him busy. Darshan just trying to run himself away. He's kind of caught very far out from the rest of his team. Also going to get charged up. He does kick 2 out, but Bjergsen's ultimate isn't quite enough to kill him.
Well, that is so big that Darshan stayed alive. He doesn't have his TP, but still, he's going to have to be forced to back off. We'll see if TSM want to force onto the objective right now. They're moving towards Baron, knowing that Darshan will take some time to get back to the fight.
Massive top lane wave as well, but TSM actually look for the re-engage.
Oh, nice flash ult from Turtle.
Really nice. He's going to get locked down again. He tried to take Turtle down with him, but it's not going to happen.
That was such a good play from Wild Turtle. The flash ultimate nails Hui, takes down really the strongest member of the team right now. And CLG, again, they cannot give up the Baron. They must force this fight.
Smithy is available. Turtle going to eat some honey fruit, try and keep himself safe. Gets a lot of health back, actually.
Smithy has been known for his Baron steals. He's got a lot of objective steals over the years to save CLG.
TSM can't mess this one up. They might lose too much if they do. Ult from Afrom is not bad, but Darshan's still caught. He's going to get finally taken down. Bjergsen on a rampage.
And they'll go right back to it. Now Darshan is out. It's only 3 members alive. I don't know if CLG can even try to contest this, but they feel like they have no choice. Smithy essentially has to get a steal at this point. That's really their only hope.
They're buying time for the juicy wave, but they really need to take this Baron away from them. Bjergsen flashes in, takes out Smithy, and that'll secure Baron for TSM.
Big play there from TSM. Afro is going to go down as well. TSM gets it all.
Locked it up and taking it down. They ping towards the elbow. Bjergsen goes back to collect the top lane wave from taking his inhibitor. Oh, Bjergsen
He's going straight for Elder. They want to rush
All right,
the Elder.
Haunter's there, it's okay.
Yeah, he's just going to get right over there. Haunter has the TP, so Bjergsen can just run straight to the Elder Dragon. With the Elder and the Baron, it would be almost unthinkable that they couldn't close out this game.
TSM, they play it awfully patiently, but they are rewarded with a clean Baron and what looks to be the Elder Dragon as well. CLG, they thought they had the pressure with the top wave, the angle on the fight with the poke, but key picks by the Syndra onto the likes of Huhi.
And this is the play. I mean, CLG knows this is desperate, but they also know if you lose that Baron, you lose the game. That was actually an empowered Bola coming across from Svenskeren, it looked like there. And Bjergsen's able to flash over, he executes the kill, and that really did seal it for TSM. And now it's death push time.
You can see Jamison in that last fight, Bjergsen and Total dishing out quite a lot. Poor Huhi with a big bagel.
I mean, not much you could do about that one. Gets flash ulted and dies before that ends.
TSM now pushing top side. Wave already started by Sven and Bjergsen, and they'll just kind of do their homework at this point. Making sure they get everything done nice and cleanly. It's been, you know, pretty medium pace for TSM, taking it slowly, making sure they don't rush it or make mistakes, and have made very few this game.
That's what they're happy with, right? They don't need to rush anything. Double GA is now available. They will force this fight. With double GA, double Thornmail on their tanks, they can go forward. One inhibitor already down. The middle one is going to fall here too. Yeah,
Sven's actually working on that himself and also threatened to flank with his ultimate. He's just chilling out, waiting for someone. Huhi walks forward. Svenskeren waits for the rest of his team. And nothing goes in onto Huhi. Good poke, good QSS off there from Huhi. Bola would have spelled his death if he'd let it go. And now TSM take 2 inhibitors. Sure, they've got to go back to bottom lane, work on that, but should have more than enough Baron and Elder Dragon to do so.
Yeah, they have so much time. It took them none at all to really get that top couple down, and they're actually just going to TP straight over there. I mean, that shows, if anything, how confident they are that this is the end of the game. He TPs to save a couple minions' lives to increase the power of their coming push.
Yep, just wants to get it started ASAP. You can see Haunter, look at this giant slowing circle. 465 armor for Haunter.
And the amount of damage, return damage on the Thornmail is pretty insane. So every time you auto-attack Haunter, you take 92 damage plus 15% of whatever your auto-attack deals. So if Jhin is attacking him, the Jhin actually takes more damage from that attack than Haunter probably does.
Well, Haunter is going to move forward. They're going to try and take down this turret. Should melt here under the power of TSM. And CLG, you have one last play to make to try and salvage this first game.
I think their one last play was 25 minutes ago, Pastry.
I think so as well.
A little bit inevitable.
Sven dives in. Sunflame onto Afro Moon. They're just going to take the inhibitor. Darshan, ulti's going to miss. Now Darshan going to get ulted by Turtle. Jin's going to open up. Sven and Haunter going to tank this, and TSM just going to walk the minions in and take down the Nexus.
Yeah, this is not much CLG can do. They will fight it out here at the Nexus, I'm sure, but hard to see them taking down TSM.
TSM already looping into action, going to try and take one Nexus turret down. They do get it. Darshan looking for Fire Frost. They're just going to lock it all down. Afro almost dead as he wades through the chaos. And now TSM just going to work on it. Haunter leaps in onto Xmithie, going to try and take him down. Still not dead. Tristan Evans going to keep him alive. Darshan diving to the backline. Now dead to Total. Goes unstoppable. And TSM is going to pick up a few more kills. Svenskeren leaps in onto Stixxay. That Turtle slammed in for the double. Nexus exposed, and TSM win game number 1 as Haunter doesn't even die. Leaping into the fountain.
Takes an easy one for TSM. 1-0 up in the series. They look strong, and CLG, I have so many questions here about the draft. Never thought it made sense. This one felt very inevitable to me.